Gavin, Daniel, Sue, fantastic. Hey, all right, I'll respond to everyone and any questions that come up in there. Don't forget to type in that questions panel what you're hoping to get from today, and then we'll come back to that a little bit later on. Awesome. Over to you, Rich.
Okay, thanks, Darren. And hey, welcome on board, everybody. I'm going to turn the camera off because I've got a face for radio as well. Cool. So I'm looking forward to this, actually. Kind of a new version of this webinar. So what I want to give you is 3 strategies that you can go out and use, but it'll probably change the way you think about marketing your accounting firm.
Richard, can you just bring your screen up, please?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Brilliant. I'm glad you're there, Darren. So yeah, look, it'll change the way you think about accounting, marketing your accounting firm, and that won't be a bad thing. Okay, so you're going to learn the same strategies that we used to grow Rightway by 400% and start getting your own clients who happily pay you what you're worth. In other words, paying you higher fees. Okay, so it's not just about getting clients, it's about getting the right type of clients and being able to charge the right type of fees, and that makes a big difference. Okay, we'll go through, not necessarily in this order, in fact it'll be the opposite order, but we'll talk about high fee packaging and how to increase your fees. We'll talk about how to quadruple your referrals. So most of you already get maybe, I don't know, 50 to 70% of your business from referrals already. So I'll show you one method for quadrupling your referrals, and then we'll show you how to do client attraction, how to get 10 times more leads than what you're traditionally used to getting if you do traditional advertising, which is usually actually not very many. So getting 10 times more is not that hard. We didn't just use it, we've been doing this for probably about 2.5 years now, working with accountants, and we've had nothing but the results we got for Darren when he was at Rightway. We've been able to get that consistently with other people as well. I mean, all the stuff. I'm only going to show you 3 strategies, but when you look at them, you should see that they're reasonably common sense. And I really love the 80-20 principle. So I'm big on finding what are the 20% that makes, what's the 20% that gets the 80% of the results? So what are the fastest ways to get the best results? I'm not really into hard work, particularly for accountants, because I know, if we're going to put in place marketing systems for you, I know you're already busy. I know you're already flat out. I mean, it will require some work, but if we can find the fastest way to get the fastest results for you, that's what most people are after. So anyway, we've had some good results. I know the stuff works, and that's about that. So let me start with my embarrassing little problem, and that was when I came out of university, I had an embarrassing little secret, and that was I'd spent about 30,000, had 4 years there. I actually missed a couple. The reason I had 4 years, not 3, is actually I failed 3 accounting papers. So you're taking, well, I mean, it's not a bad thing. You're taking advice from a guy who failed 3 accounting papers. I failed year 1 twice. I thought I'd do it again. It'll be an easy paper, the second year. But of course, my head's not really for accounting. My head is for marketing, and that's what I'm good at. And I'm not good at accounting. And you may be the opposite. So if we ever team up, we may be the perfect pair. But I had no idea. I came out of that degree with no idea how to sell anything. Right, which and I got an A- in marketing, but I had no idea how to sell anything, and everything I learned was really after I had finished my degree. I can't think of anything I use or remember or look back to as what I learned. But you're going to learn more in the next 90 minutes than I learned in 4 years at university. Well, you're not going to learn more. You're going to learn in 90 minutes. You're going to learn more effective stuff. Okay. Specifically, how to create message that attract your ideal client. Okay, so we're going to talk about offers today, how to create offers. Okay, very quickly, who am I? In 30 seconds, I am fortunate to travel around the world and teach people marketing, or teach accountants marketing and some other professional services, but accounting is my main focus at the moment. And yeah, in France at the moment. I'll be doing a workshop in Geneva in a couple of months. Mandalay Bay, that was we ran one a couple of years ago, and that was where the shooter was. Remember the Las Vegas shooter? Written a few books, and one of them was what to do if your marketing sucks. So that might be very relevant for some of you. Right. Now, what I've learned working with accountants is good news and bad news. Okay. These are all the things on the right that you could be doing. The problem is, the bad news is none of them work. And you might say, well, that sounds a bit strange. Well, actually, the good news is they all work, right? They all work when you do what I'm going to show you. And that's why I'm going to show it to you. It's kind of the core that makes everything work. However, they will all not work if you don't do what I'm about to show you, if you don't do it well. So I don't want to show you the symptoms. I want to show you what the cause of good marketing is. And when you fix this thing, everything works. Okay, let me give a quick example of an accountant who came to me. And Donnie probably represented most people. He may not represent you exactly, but he represented most people. I said, Donnie, what's happening? He said, well, by most standards, things are going pretty well. But I said, well, what are you doing here? He said, well, I want to earn more. I said, what else? He said, I need more clients. I want better clients. Our clients love us, but I don't feel we're charging high enough fees. I said, yep, pretty common. 80% of our business comes from referrals, which is great. But the problem with that is that's reactive, isn't it? How can I proactively grow my clients? Because if I'm not getting enough referrals to grow, then I'm not getting enough referrals to grow. I don't know what to do because I've never really found anything that worked. I feel like I'm doing random acts, but like Darren's jazz ensemble, I'm busy, but nothing's, I'm wasting my time, and I'm wasting money on marketing that doesn't work, and I don't know where to start. And I said, Donnie, that doesn't sound, well, it sounds pretty normal actually. Where do you want to be, Donnie? And I said, how successful are you? He said, well, I give myself 6 out of 10. It's not a bad business, but I know it can be better. All right. So I said, all right, well, how do you feel? How do you feel? How does all this make you feel? He said, well, I feel I'm failing to reach my goals because while I'm doing quite well, I'm never hitting my growth goals. I feel I'm stuck, confused, losing confidence. I'm all over the place. I'm honestly feeling exhausted. I said, give me the details. He said, well, turnover's about $1 million. We've got 5 staff. I'm earning about 300K. I kind of feel I'm successful, but on one hand, I feel I'm not successful. I said, all right. Okay, what would you give yourself out of 10 for your? He said, 8 out of 10 for, but no, sorry. This is actually what he said. I said, where do you want to be? Pardon me. He said, I want to be turning over $1 million. I want to be earning 300K, and I want to be working with business owners primarily, and I want 5 staff. That's what I want. Okay, that's right. And he said, I said, out of 10, how does that feel for you? He said, well, that's pretty good. If 10 was perfect, I kind of feel 8. Okay, good. I said, but 8's not good enough. Why do you want $1 million turnover and 300? He said, I want to pay for the kids. I want to take the kids to Disneyland. I want to look after my staff. I want to help my family, and I want to have a bit of self-respect. And that's why it's at 8. Okay. And I said, all right, those things sound pretty good. What else would have to happen, right, to get to 10? He said, well, I'd have to have my father see me as a success. He said, my father was an accountant, and he ran a successful firm. In all honesty, I want to run a better firm than him. And if I had that would take me to 10. Okay, so cool. We've got his motivation. Boom. And the key one there was, getting respect from his father. And it's often little things like that. All right. What's stopping you? Well, I want better clients. These are like obstacles between where I am now and where I want to be. Need more meetings, all the usual things. I don't see us as different. We're getting fee resistance, and I don't know where to start. Okay, these are the things in the way. All right, Don, what we need is everything you've said is pretty much, if you had better marketing, and when I say marketing, you had a better way to get clients, then a lot of these problems, well, all of these problems would be solved. So we need to build a bridge over the top. Okay, so we need a way to attract clients who appreciate your value, refer you consistently, and happily pay you premium fees because you're worth it. He said, that's exactly what I want. That is the bridge I want. And if I had that, I'd be able to jump over all those problems and get to where I am, where I want to be. Okay. Show me your marketing system that you currently got, Donnie. And I don't know, have a look at this and see if this relates to you. What is your system for getting clients? He said, well, typically I get a phone call out of the blue, nothing I've done. We meet them, we review the current financials. I look to undercut the fees, and I guess that's my marketing system. I said, well, okay, well, you've got a few holes there, but okay. It's not, I said, that's not really a marketing system, right? I said, have you ever done dating, Donnie? And he said, of course I have. I was actually a pretty good dater in my day. And I said, give me the process for dating. He said, well, you'd usually approach the young lady. I'd look to get her phone number pretty early on. I'd get that first, because if everything went sour after that, I'd still have her phone number. I'd then ask her out on a date. On the date, I'd look to give her a kiss. And then he said, as with my wife, he's skipped a few steps here, obviously, but we might get engaged and get married. That's kind of the ultimate process to go through. And I said, yeah, that's good. Do you notice how there's a series of small steps where you build it up for people? He said, I did notice that. Yeah. Why didn't you just jump straight through to the kiss? And he said, well, if you just approach a woman and just give her a kiss, most would find that pretty inappropriate. I said, exactly. Now, with your sales process, I'm going to say that if you went straight through and gave her a kiss, it would be pretty inappropriate and you might end up in jail. How do the pros do it? And he said, how do the pros do it? And I said, okay, well, here's how the pros do it. Okay, now these are the companies who have grown their business bigger and faster than any of us. Okay, but and while you might say, oh, well, I don't like a lot of things they do, they know how to sell because they sell a lot, right? And they all kind of use the same sort of process. So let's have a look at supermarkets. They will place an ad to get attention. They'll run a thing called a loss leader, right? They'll then cross-sell, and upsell. So they'll get them in with something quite appealing and they'll escalate the commitment. Okay, now, have I got an example here? Yes. Here's an example of someone trying to get someone in with a small step. So, there's some beer on sale or there's some bread or milk. And they know, a supermarket knows that anyone that comes in for a $3 bottle of milk, on average, walks away with a basket of $27. Now, this was a couple of years ago. Now, for me, if I go in to get some milk, if I'm driving around and my wife says, you've got to come and get some milk, I'll always end up getting about $40 worth of stuff, right? But they've got me in there for the milk. Okay, McDonald's run a loss leader. They're the same. They'll do their advertising, a bit of a loss leader. They'll upsell, cross-sell. And we'll have a look at how this works specifically. Message, 99-cent burger. Do you want fries with that? Right? Do you want to supersize it? Do you want dessert? Right? So they get you in on the 99-cent burger, and then they'll say, do you want fries with that? Now, for the people who haven't ordered fries, just ordered a cheap burger, 30% say yes to an upsell. Okay? So I won't go through the numbers, but how it looks is each combo client, when they do the upsell, the money they make from that client is 733% more profit. I will go through the numbers actually. Okay, so it costs them $1.91 to get a person through the drive-through. So if they sell them a $2.09 burger, this is a US example, they make 18 cents on the burger, right? If they also sell them fries and Coke, would you like to upsell that? Upsize, they make $1.77, right? 8 times that of the core sale, right? So they get them in, they make a little bit on the first one, and then they make a lot by doing the upsell. So the ad, they have a loss leader. This is another example. This one's Columbia House Records. Okay, now I remember buying these. Some of you guys and ladies might have done this too, but this is probably an older version of the ad. But the ad I remember seeing was you could get something like 12 CDs or tapes. It was 12 tapes for $12, and it was based on the fact that you would then spend $10 a month every month, and you could get another tape. But you got 12 on the first month, and then one tape every month after that. Now you could quit it in time. So someone like me, who at the time was 19 and living in England, playing cricket, I'd order the thing and then cancel it immediately because I had no money, but I had $12. But they made a lot of money doing this, right? By getting them on board with an irresistible offer. So Apple do the same. You know, you have your phone, and then they have more and more and more, and they upsell you. Okay, now the problem most accountants are making is you're lacking the small steps to make it easy for people to get up. Jumping them all the way to a meeting is actually a really big step. And this is what Donnie said. He said, am I missing some steps? I said, you sure are, right? Now let's have a look at the advertising that typical accountants do, and I'm just going to go through them quickly. But pretty much all the advertising and promotions are trying to drive people straight to third base, straight to the kiss, effectively. This is effectively saying, hey, hire me to be your accountant. All right, so are these ones, the Trade Me ads. And we sat down and I said, look, this is what everyone's doing. They're trying to, it's almost like trying to get engaged when you don't even know the person, right? It's just hire me, hire me. Where is the romance, Donnie? He said, there's no romance, right? Everything is geared up to just hire me, just hire me. And it's kind of like, but I hardly even know you, right? Now have a think about your website. And it's understandable that you would do this, but when I show you the things I'm going to show you, you'll understand how much better it can be. Okay, and they're all just hire me, we do this and we do that, and we do this and that, right? So the typical accountant sales process is like they're standing on a big box. Everyone's too scared or too unable to jump that high because there's no steps. All right, so he's saying, do you want to kiss the accountant? And the person's saying, but I hardly know you. Why would someone come and book a meeting with you when they really don't know you? Okay, it's a big step. So what I'm going to show you is about adding in those little steps to make it a whole lot easier to get up the top to you. Okay, so, and it's kind of obvious when you think about it. Okay, but what are the little steps? Okay, each step is an offer. Okay, now let's do a quick test. And I want you to type in the chat window, please. So you're going to have to type, I think A, B, C, or D. So marketing for accountants typically fails because A, people try and copy retail examples. B, there's no romance. C, clients need small steps. Like it's a big deal changing your accountant. I mean, you think, oh, it shouldn't be. But to a lot of people it is. They have a whole lot of things in their head as to why it's hard. D, the only offer is hire me now. Or E, all of the above. Can you just type in which one of those you think it might be into the questions window? Thank you, Brett, Rakesh. Rakesh changed his mind. Rochelle, Lee, Justin, thanks guys. DRE, yep. Well, it's kind of all the above. It's all the above really, isn't it? So thanks guys. All right, so if you've got any questions, just type them in here. Hey Darren, I wonder if you can just go through quickly, and I'm going to show you how to fix all this in a minute. But can you just quickly run through what are some of the key reasons people were here and what they want to get from today?
Yeah, look, I've got a few here. I'm actually talking. I hope Rakesh doesn't mind me. I'm just going to use Rakesh as a bit of an example here because he's just going to read it out and say, he said, look, accounting services have become very transactional. I want to focus on building relationships and not see my clients as pulses with checkbooks, and which is quite good. And this is something I hear quite a lot, and I've been hearing it for a long time. Is we don't really want to be just seen as accountants and number crunchers. We want to be seen as advisors and delivering more value. And that seems to be a lot of the common theme whenever we ask that question, what do you want to get out of today? how do I transition into becoming an advisor and attract those sorts of clients? So that's sort of what even Rakesh has just said there. I've just brought them up because we've actually been having a little bit of a conversation for the last 2 or 3 minutes. But yeah, high quality leads from Jason. Winnie, no, that's not Winnie. I'm thinking of someone else. That's really Carmel. Carmel has turned around. It says, just want more advisory clients, better quality clients, more leads. Yeah, that seems to be the common theme.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. So I've given you, thanks for that, Darren. Yeah, it's usually the same. People say more leads. That's not necessarily always what you should want, but we'll get into that. So what I'm going to show you is 3 of the steps in the 80-20 roadmap. So this is kind of what I take clients through, take them through from 1 to 16. And this is kind of the, it's not kind of, it is, it's the getting clients process. So I'm going to take you through 6, 7, and 8. These are key steps, right? Because these are the offers, okay? Now, each step is valuable in itself. What is an offer? An offer is a rung on the ladder, right? So it leads to the next rung. So when we're talking about offers, when we create offers, and this is something accountants do very poorly because the only offer they have is kind of hire me. That's their offer, right? What we want to do is create some smaller, easier to accept offers. Okay, so quick rules: must be clear, must be good value. There must be a logical reason for the offer. There must be a reason for immediate action. Okay, procrastination, rules supreme. And there must be a strong call. You must tell them exactly what to do. Okay, so that's what we need to do with offers. Most people don't have enough leads, or they have bad leads. Okay, I'm going to show you offer number 1. And offer number 1 is kind of like
more. Before you carry on, Richard, just one more I missed, and actually Brett's just put it up there again as well. One of the other things that we want to get out of this, and it has been becoming a common theme, is actually not even so much, it's back in the better quality leads, but also trying to build a business that actually has less clients but more revenue and more profit. So it's almost that lifestyle style of things where they're saying, instead of having quiet periods, I just want quality clients that I enjoy doing work with instead of quiet periods. And that's what Brett's just said. But we're coming across that a lot as well, where there's accountants at that sort of phase of life, probably around our age, where they're saying, well, actually, I just want better quality clients. I don't necessarily loads more of them, but I want to be able to find the quality ones so that I can unload those ones that actually consume so much of my time. So that's another common theme as well.
Yeah, sorry, Richard. Right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So it's quality rather than quantity. So what you're going to need is you're going to need these 3 offers I'm going to show you. Okay. And offer number 1 is kind of like bait. It's like bait on a hook, where you put it on the hook and they come to you. Okay, they come to you as opposed to you chasing clients. Now Mona got 120 leads in a single weekend using this, and I can show you millions of examples, but I haven't got time. But what you'll end up with is a lot of leads, right? There's some examples. Mark 30 leads in a weekend with his monkey's fist. Okay, this is Mark. He's a real guy. And okay, so we're going to use this technique called a monkey's fist. What is a monkey's fist? There's a guy called Frank Betcher, and he was a salesman in the 1950s. And he was sitting on the dock, looking at the ships come in between sort of calls. And he noticed these great big ropes going from the ship to the shore. And he thought, man, those are big ropes. Now, those ropes are called hawsers. And they're about the size of a man's thigh. And he thought, wow, I wonder how they get them from the boat to the shore. So he thought, I'll tell you what, it's time for lunch. I'll open up my sandwiches and there's a new ship coming in. I'll watch how they do it. And what he noticed was on top of the deck of the ship, there was a guy there who'd swing this ball around his head like a lasso. It was attached to a string. And he'd throw that lassoed ball, which is called a monkey's fist. Inside that macrame thing there is a metal ball. Slightly different nowadays, it's more of an old version, but it's called a monkey's fist. He'd swing around his head and he'd throw the lasso ball onto the shore, and the longshoreman would pick it up, and it was attached to a thin rope. And then he'd start pulling the thin rope, and eventually he would pull the hawser out. The thin rope was connected to the fat rope. and he'd pull the hawser on shore. So he thought, oh, that's clever. Throw something which is really easy on shore, but have it connected to the main thing you want to get. And he said, oh, that's a good idea. He said, it's kind of like my selling. He said, I'm trying to sell coffee, but it's kind of like throwing a hawser. It's really hard to sell. He was getting 4 sales out of 100 doors he'd knock on. He thought, I wonder if I could throw a monkey's fist. I wonder if I could throw something really easy, but in front of, the sale of the coffee, right? I wonder if I could throw a monkey's fist. So he did. And his conversion rate went from 4 out of 100 to 40 out of 100. And this is the strategy he used. And it's a strategy I want you to consider. He'd approach the lady of the house and say, hello, madam. This guy's selling brushes. He's not selling coffee, but Frank Betcher sold coffee. He said, madam, I've got a free gift for you. It's a sample of our finest coffee. And he said, I'll give it to you if you'll accept it, on the condition I'll come back in a week's time and see what you think. Yeah, okay. Now that's a much easier offer to accept than would you like to buy my coffee? Okay, would you like to try this little sample of coffee? It's yours with my compliments, right? It's a small step, isn't it? And pretty much everybody took the sample of coffee. It was an extra step in the process, so he did have to come back the following week, but he didn't mind because he sold. He'd come back the following week and he'd say, "Hi, madam, it's Frank here again. I gave you a free sample of coffee last week, and actually, I've just returned to see what you think. But actually, I've got a free gift for you if you make your first purchase." Right, so he went from 4% to 40%. That's a pretty big difference if you're selling coffee door to door. Pretty, only making 4 sales out of 100 is pretty heartbreaking. Anyway, a major revolution by adding a little simple step in the front. Now, what's the best monkey's fist for an accountant? Okay, now we'll jump straight to the answer. Specific problem-solving information your ideal client is already looking for, right? If you can solve a little problem they're already looking for, that is a magnificent monkey's fist. Who is gonna not want some little step-by-step instruction that solves a problem they are having? I mean, if someone came to me and said, I've got a little solution for how to fix your internet, which I've been struggling with over the last week, I would have bitten their head off to get it, because I'm in France trying to speak to a whole lot of people and I don't speak French, trying to work out a solution. If someone said, hey, I've got a little solution for how foreigners can massively increase their internet speed, I would have jumped at it. And then they said, okay, well, that's how you do it. Would you like to buy the service off me? I would go, absolutely, yes, I would, right? Now, whoever educates the market owns the market, right? Now, this is the way to get away from being notice the salesperson on the left and the teacher on the right. This positions you as the teacher, right? There's no selling required. All it is teaching people how to solve little problems that are bugging them. Okay, 4 reasons that this works so well. The fish swim towards the bait. Chasing is hard work. Rather than waste time and money, let's just help people, right? Instead of talking about how good we are as an accountant, why don't we give them a little solution and show them how good we are? Number 3, we're drowning in media noise. I'll just skip this, but in the old days, here's the street cleaner again. He's done the street. He's coming back again. He's obviously being paid by the hour. Right, in the old days, traditional marketing, you just had to put your name out there and people were going to call you because there was one TV channel, one newspaper, and that, whatever you said, you just, there's Ronald Reagan on the left smoking cigarettes, and everybody would go, wow, those cigarettes must be great. Ronald Reagan smokes some and they're on TV, right? Nowadays, good luck with that, right? Because there's so many different channels. You can't just put your name out there and expect people to come, right? And we talked about the only offer being hire me. It's very unromantic. So what we want to do is sell a problem you solve, not the service you offer. If you're trying to sell the service you offer, you're selling. If you're promoting problems that you solve, you're teaching, okay? So what we need to do, or what you need to do, is find the pebble in their shoe. What is the small buggy thing, like the internet was for me? What's the buggy thing for your ideal client that if you said, I can show you how to do this, or I've got a little flow chart, or I've got a checklist, or I've got a mind map, or something like that, that they would bite your hand off to get it? Okay, now this does require a little bit of work and a little bit of thought, but I'll give you two ways of working out what this could be. One is, who's your ideal client, and what are the questions they're constantly asking you? Is there one or two questions they're constantly asking all the time? That's one way of doing it, and then you turn that question, you come up with an answer for it, and you start promoting that answer. The other way is, what are the problems or fears they have? And you turn that into an answer, and you put it out there, okay? So you find the pebble that's in their shoe, that annoying thing. It's not necessarily anything particularly huge or life-changing. It's just in their mind, and it's annoying them constantly. That is the perfect type of, pebble in their shoe is the ideal monkey's fist. Now, here's an example. You do have to name it properly. Here's a book. Now, in this case, this lady, Nora Hayden, wrote a book, and she didn't nail the headline. Now, well, she didn't direct it towards the pebble in their shoe. She sold 60,000 copies, which you might say, well, that's pretty good. But when she changed the title of the book only to the pebble in someone's shoe, she sold 4 million copies. Boom, how to satisfy a woman every time and have her beg for more. Now, that's a hell of a title for a book. The first and only book that tells you exactly how, right? That's a hell of a title. Now, that got a completely different response because she appealed to the pebble in the shoe. So let's say we target IT companies. Show me the difference between before and after. Okay, the before way that we might do it is, look, you might say as an accountant, we offer a complete range of services. That's one way of doing it. But if we're targeting IT companies, we might say, and I don't know what the pebble in the shoe is for your clients, but how to get your IT business ready to sell in 6 months or less. Right, that's going to be far more effective, right? A traditional ad might be proudly serving Melbourne for over 25 years. Doesn't really say anything. 5 ways IT companies are overpaying tax. A little booklet that outlines that. You're going to get a lot more people responding, right? We don't have to sell. We just have to help people solve problems that are already hurting them. Now, it's a bit of an art form coming up with the right monkey's fist. And I don't have time to work out what would your monkey's fist, but it would depend on who you're trying to target and what their pains and problems are. But that's the process. Okay, you'll get 10 times more leads, positions you as an expert. You don't have to sell anything, and we can automate this process. Okay, I'll just jump through this because I'm conscious of time. I'll read them out, but a few quick tips. You need an ultra-specific solution to an ultra-specific problem, right? Ideally, it gives them instant gratification. When they look at it, they look like they're getting high perceived value, and when they actually get it, they get high actual value. So, it's not one of those things that look great, but when they got it, it was like, oh, it's a piece of rubbish. And there's a few other things, but I don't have time to go through them because I want to cover 3 things with you. Okay, here's a quick example. Cameron made 100K from a $256 Facebook ad spend. Okay, so what does this whole process look like when it's set up and automated? This is kind of the ultimate position to take it to. This is what Cameron did. Promo, he took them to a landing page. If they wanted a meeting immediately, he'd allow them to book a meeting. He'd then deliver value in that meeting, and then he'd sign them up as a client. If they didn't want a meeting immediately after having requested his monkey's fist, he'd give them the monkey's fist, he'd provide some nurturing material, and then he'd offer them a meeting later on. Okay, so what does that look like? Here's an example of the ad on the left. So his one was around cash flow. If they clicked on the ad, they'd go through to a page. You're familiar with this type of thing. The page, now here's the catch, right? So that's the order page for getting the content or the monkey's fist. So there's the order page. Now, once they'd filled that out, they were giving an opportunity to book a meeting immediately. Okay, so if this makes sense to you, you can book a meeting immediately, right? And if they could, they got that option, they either meet, and he would meet with and sign them up, or he would nurture them and give them offers to meet later on. Okay, now I can't remember what the numbers were, but I think 100K. So he made up, well, I don't know exactly 100K, but from a $256 AdWords, that's not unreasonable. Now he charges quite high fees. It's not just he's not getting $2,000 compliance clients. These are quite big grunty clients he's picking up. Were you going to say something, Darren?
First client that he got from this within the first 7 days was actually $1,000 a year to an accountant that was a friend or a family relative, and moved over to Cameron for $1,000 a month.
Nice.
That was what he did. So there you go. Because by the time he actually met with the person and sat down with them, the proof had been all the way along that Cameron knew what he was talking about, had the knowledge, had the experience, had all the information, and it was a no-brainer. The guy signed up, still with him now, 2.5, 3 years later. So you take that $12,000, that's $36,000 return on just that one client alone.
And sometimes even if you give them the solution, you say, look, in this case it was cash flow. You give them the solution, they just want to hire you to do it. Even though you've given them the solution, they go, yeah, I can see you know what you're talking about. I don't want to go through it. Can you just do it for me? Right. So we better move on because I'm conscious of time. So there's the order page. They booked a meeting, and Bob's your uncle. Okay, here's a couple of other examples. I'll go through them quickly, but this is one Darren made it right way. The number one mistake made by hospitality owners that reduces profit. This one was the 7 biggest. This lady's targeting business owners. 7 biggest mistakes people make when selling a business. She got 87 leads and 7 clients from it. How bookkeepers can earn $9,000 more every month. That's pretty specific. Okay, and there's more. Okay, so format options. Look, you can do an infographic is great. One of the things I said is you want to give them a quick win. So an infographic's great. That's the one Cameron used. You can do a booklet. You can do a flow chart. You can do hand-drawn flow chart work. This is one of the best ones I've ever used. Checklists. People love checklists. You can do a long form report. This one's a monkey's fist on the monkey's fist. But it has to be really good because people like the quick stuff, like a mind map, right? Or a self-assessment. Okay, so that's just what I told you before. I haven't got time to go through it because we need to go through the next one. Now, quick quiz. The monkey's fist is a Bruce Lee movie. Is it a yoga position? So type in A, B, C, D. Is it problem-solving information used to generate leads? Is it a knot used on a boat? Is it B and C? Oops. Which is it?
D. They're supposed to be D.
Well, it probably is, but it's not. So it's probably wrong then, isn't it? So it is certainly. So just quickly type in. Let me see if you've.
Justin said D. Johan said D. Rakesh said C.
Yep. If you said C and D, you're on the right track. Good work. Right. So guys, if you've got any questions, feel free to type them into the questions window now. It's the questions window, not the chat window. And we will cover them at the end. Okay, we'll cover them at the end. I've got 3 strategies. That's strategy number 1. So that's the monkey's fist. I'm conscious of time and I want to move on to strategy number 2. We'll probably go for about 90 minutes. Okay, so okay, makes sense so far. Does this make sense? By the way, just type in the chat window now. Is what I've shown you so far make sense? So what I've kind of covered is the fact that we need more romance in our sales process. We need some small steps that are easy for people to step on, like the monkey's fist. I'm going to show you the next small step now, but does it make sense? Oh la la, the romance, says Brett. Brett's a romantic man, obviously, and he resonated with that. How romantic is your sales process at the moment, Brett? Are you going straight in for the kiss, like most accountants? Rakesh says, yes, implementing is the issue. I've got you. Look, Rakesh, what I'll show you at the end is I'll show you I'm showing you some strategies. We can help you implementing them. I'll give you a quick rundown at the end on what we do and how we do it. And that, you know, if you're the type of person open to getting some help, then that may be useful for you. Brett says it needs some work. Yeah, good. Lee says, I feel like Ronald Reagan. Why do you feel like Ronald Reagan? What, smoking or? Yeah,
or dead.
correct. What's that? This webinar is your monkey's fist. No, yes, it is. It is, Rochelle. You're exactly right. Well, you know, we do training. Look, you know, we do training to try and show you some good stuff and help you out. And some people go, that's great, do it on my own. Other people go, this makes sense. Can you help me? Absolutely. It's definitely our monkey's fist. Telling, not showing. Good. Okay. Can you just mute yourself if you're typing, Darren? Because you got Darren's got very strong fingers.
Yes, I do.
All right, let's go. So I just showed you the monkey's fist, step number 6. I want to show you a way to get people. You may have people on a list, but you might, you know, but what do? I need them in appointments. So not everybody who's going to request a copy of your monkey's fist is necessarily going to book an appointment, right? In fact, most of them aren't. So what can we do to those who don't book immediately? And in fact, you'll make more money out of those who don't book a meeting with you immediately, because there's way more of them, than you will out of those who do, because you'll get them in the end if you have good nurture and good reasons for them to connect with you. Okay, I'm going to show you a strategy now, which is kind of common sense when you think about it, for getting appointments or getting face-to-face with people. All right, so what we need is, we need to put a meeting checklist. We need, when you're trying to get meetings with people, when they're only on a list, they're not, you know, they've only requested something. We need to promise one big thing. We need to offer fast results. What you offer needs to be easy to understand, and it needs to convert them to a client. I've got time for that many. So let me show you rather than talk about it. Here's a thing Darren and I developed called the 90-day referral pipeline. It's a strategy. Actually, before I get into that, referrals is massively underdone. So when we talk about referrals, and when we look at you know, an accountant's business, I'm looking to find out, are they a medalist, right? When it comes to referrals, right? So if you're a gold medalist, you'd have a 200% referral rate. That means for every client you get, they're referring 2 clients a year. If you're silver, on average, every client is referring 1 client a year, and in that case, you'd be doubling your business every year, right? And bronze, every 2 clients might be referring 1 client per year. So you'd be growing by 50%, right? Now, even though most accountants get a lot of referrals, they don't usually get this many. And this is kind of where I'd want to get you to at least silver. Now, if you're at silver, you're doubling your business every year, right? And why shouldn't you be getting 1 referral per client on average per year, you know, if you do a good job? Okay, now, you know, I've got 8 different strategies that I teach for getting referrals, but I'm going to show you one now. But let's have a look at what a new client's really worth. Let's say you've just got a compliance client, they're worth $2,000 a year, right? And you keep them for 7 years. Each new client is actually worth $14,000, right? I'm using very simplistic numbers. Now, if they refer 1 friend or 1 colleague per year, right? Then you've got what I call a referral business, right? So you get on board 1 client, and over 7 years, they refer 7 clients, 1 a year, right? So it's them plus 7 others. So it's $112,000 in theory. If you've got a silver medal referral business, 1 new client equals $112,000, right? It actually gets more than that, because what about the referrals from the referrals, right? Because if they all refer 1, that's why you need referral systems. It's ridiculous. It's 748. Now, you're not going to get that, but if you've got 112,000. Okay, so here's one way of doing it, okay? I've got 8 strategies. This is one. It's called the 90-day planning session. So what you do is you run this session where you invite your clients and your prospects and anyone else you see fit to 90-day planning session. right? You're just facilitating a 90-day goal setting session or planning session for their business, right? Now, what's the benefit for the client? It gets them out of work. They get to work on their business, not in their business. They get a chance to network with other business owners, right? They talk about a lot of things they can't talk about with their staff. They get to impress others with their results. They love coming to the meeting and bragging about what they've done the last 90 days. They get to connect with experts like you and any guest speaker that you invite. This is so easy. You don't have to do the speaking yourself. You can get other people. You just have to facilitate the 90-day session. Now let's see how it works. You can invite clients every 90 days. Well, that's a good thing to do, right? It allows you to stay in touch with your existing clients, and as opposed to just my accountant would just send me an invoice. I've got a good one now, but my old accountant used to send me an invoice. That's about the extent of our relation. Pay this much tax. I had 2 communications a year, pay this much tax and pay my bill. And that was the extent of our relationship, right? So this way you could meet people every 90 days in a leveraged way. What you need to do is book a guest speaker, unless you're going to do it yourself or one of your staff members. You hand out the 90-day planning sheets, right? Now you have to make them up, but you can work out. I've got sheets, obviously I give our clients, but they have to have some 90-day planning sheets. They're just templates. They fill them out themselves, and then you give people time to plan, network, and review. Okay, you might have a guest speaker speak for half an hour, a bit of Q&A, bit of around the room on what did you achieve in the last 90 days, and then give them 2 hours or an hour and a half to sit down and just work out what they're going to do. People love it. Now, how do you get referrals? You said this was a referral strategy, Richard. Yes, it is. Your guest, the guest speaker can invite, guest invite rules. Your clients can invite 2 guests per month, right? They can invite 2 other business owners. Each of your clients can invite 2 other business owners per month. They can invite them consecutively. So if they come once, they either have to become a client or they have to pay to come to the next one, right? If they become a client, they can come for free, or they can pay, or they can't come to the next one, they miss out. The guest speaker can invite 6 guests, right? So it's a good way to getting access to, let's say you have a lawyer come and speak. Your referral members can invite a guest. So if you have any good referral network, which I would get you to form, then they are also allowed to invite a certain number of guests as well. So you're tapping into other people's databases or other people's client lists. And you can invite your prospects along, right? It's a chance for them to see you in action and for you to facilitate something which is really quite powerful for them. Okay, so you need a letter to the clients, you need to map out the session format, you need to organize a speaker, you need to identify referral partners and let them know, what the deal is, and then you need to write out an event summary, and that's about all you need to do in the 90-day action planning. It's pretty simple. Well, the concept is simple, and this will really appeal to some of you. I know some of you will go away and it'd be definitely something you can do. Others will say, no, I could never do something like that, and that's fine. Okay. So that's the goal. Remember, you should be getting, for every new client that comes on board, you should be getting another client. Okay, that is one way. That's one of the ways to get people into a meeting. Okay, now when they're at that meeting, you can talk to them obviously, and you would hand them a survey question before they attend the meeting, and find out what their pain points are and what are the pebbles in their shoe, because they'll fill it out on the questionnaire form when they're at the meeting. Okay, the new people, and that will give you an opportunity then to talk about those pebbles in their shoes, and then invite them for a one-on-one meeting to talk to you about becoming a client. Now, that's a great way of getting meetings. It's not the only way, but it is a great way. Right, quick quiz. The irresistible meeting is about getting a prospect to book a meeting, to prove your value in advance, to convert your prospects into a client, or all of the above. It's pretty obviously D, right? All of the above. Okay, so we've covered the steps. We need small steps. I've shown you one of the steps, which is a monkey's fist. Give them problem-solving information. I've given you the second step, which is how to book them into a meeting. This is one way to book them into a meeting. Let's talk about how to present your packages, right? If you've got any questions, type them in, we'll cover them at the end. Right, and we will cover them at the end too, Darren. We'll cover these questions because even though you're answering specifically to people right now, other people may want to hear the answer to that question. So we might do a recap, a Q&A at the end, guys. Okay, the third offer is actually how do you present your options. Okay, so I'm going to show you pricing and packaging training, a very quick version of it. Now, pricing and packaging is art and psychology. Right? The way you put together your packages determines how much money you make. And if you do it one way, you'll make a lot of money. And if you do it the standard way, it'll be a lot harder. Okay, so there is a lot of psychology in pricing and packaging. I might just skip this. We need to move. Right. I want to show you some of the pricing and packaging used by some of these heavyweights, and we can copy it. Right? They use it for a reason because scientifically and psychologically, it works. Now, one strategy for getting your prices up is this one called premium options. Okay, it's a larger or better version. Now, a lot of accountants only offer one. You sit down with them, you'll say, what do you need? And you'll go through all the things you think they need. And you go, okay, I'll give you all these things and it'll cost you this much money. And they go, oh, okay. And they go, yes or no, right? That's a bad way of doing it. What we need is to give them options, right? And if your higher value option makes any sense at all, 30% will accept a premium version, right? So this is, you'll have seen this all the time, but if you're not doing it, you're missing out on a lot of money. Okay, I'll skip that for the sake of time. Right, now notice how, this is an airline. Notice how they give 1, 2, 3, 4 different options. Now, this is, bear in mind, it's the same plane, the seats are the same, but they're giving 4 different options, and you can pay, well, the cheap ones are sold out, but you can pay, in this case, you can pay 37% more if you want the option, the premium option, right? This one here, this was a flight I was looking at to San Diego. I didn't go business class. But business class is 339% more than just flying economy. Remember, both seats arrive at the same time. The food's a bit better in business and you get a bit more space and all that. I know that, but it's it's over 4 times more expensive, and people take it, right? Some people take it. Here's another one here. This is LinkedIn. So 352% more for the premium option. If you don't have a premium option, bear in mind, some people will take it if it's offered. You are missing out big time, because you talk about wanting better quality clients, you've got to start offering better quality packages, right? And this one here is 250% more. This one here is 250% more. Like if you had a package, your average package for compliance was say 2,000, and then you loaded in some other good stuff on top and you could triple it, and 30% of the people were taking it because it's better value, right? Not everyone wants the cheapest car in town. Some people want something where they're actually going to get some help from you, right? So if you're nervous about raising prices, it's a great way to test a higher price. It attracts better quality customers now and in the long term, and you can provide a better quality experience to people. Someone who's paying you $10,000 a year, you can do a lot better experience for them than someone who's just paying you $2,000 a year, right? And it doesn't mean you take away the $2,000 option. You can still do that. What you're doing is adding in a $5,000 and maybe a $10,000 option, and 30% will take a high value option, right? Same as McDonald's. Do you want fries with that? Do you want to supersize that? 30% do it. And if your option makes any sense, some of your clients will do it too. I don't know if it'll be 30%, but okay. So what are some ways to increase the value in your premium versions? Okay, so you say, okay, Richard, sounds very good. What do I actually add to make something worth 3 times more? Okay, here are some things you can do. Speed is a reason to have a premium option. Okay, we all know tradespeople. If you want an emergency call out, okay, we pay the tradesmen more. They've worked it out. Ease, right? If you make something easier, they can do it themselves, or We do it for you. That's a premium option. Quality of person that you're going to deal with. You can either deal with the office girl or the office boy, or you can deal with me, right? I'll oversee everything, but if you want me doing your work personally, it's this. If you want them, that's how big firms do it, isn't it? If you want a little bit of help, it's this much. If you want a lot of help, it's this much. So quantity of support, access. If you want my phone number and be able to give me a call at any time, it's this. And if you just want not much access, it's less. Software, do you want all the features? I've got a whole lot of things we can do, or just a little bit. Status level, right? Concerts do it this, don't they? General admission or VIP access. Do you want the backstage pass? Peak times, support levels. Okay, do you want email support level? Either I answer your email within 48 hours, or I give you, you can be on faster levels of support. So these are all different ways to increase your fee. Now, how do we present these things? I kind of like the way that software does it, so we can kind of copy this. We can have, let's say this one is for, we can list all the things that we can do. We list the premium features, and they make up the BMW and the Porsche packages. Right? This is a good way of presenting it. Let me give you an example. Basic tradie, you just want the basics. BAS, tax work, tax planning, that might be $1,500. That one's probably made to order, right? That's your basic compliance stuff. Depends on what you want done, but I'll make it to order, and it might be anywhere between there and there. If you want the extras, it's $500 a month, and you get all that stuff, plus you'll get this stuff. If you want help growing your practice or your business, you'll add the extra things in and charge more. And you might give them a good name. You want different levels. Good name really helps. I wouldn't say necessarily this one. Now here's a funny example. So this is an example of where someone's done a pretty good job. They've got red tape, growth, and virtual CFO. So they've done most of it. What they haven't done is really explained the value of these packages. Right, and this is what I would say 90% of accountants do when they do get to the step of saying, right, I need to offer packages. We've now got to sell the value. We've got to make these packages sound good, right? So the way you do, when you just do it this way, it's kind of like reading the ingredients on a recipe for, say, chocolate lava cake. Right? You wouldn't sell chocolate lava cake by saying, well, what's this chocolate lava cake? Well, it's flour, eggs, sugar, water. That's the ingredients. That's the inputs. What you do is you sell the result. You sell the output. So I've had a playful little thing here about selling a chocolate lava cake. Let's say it's a restaurant. A restaurant wouldn't have that as the description of even though it's literally true. Just the same as literally true. Here's all the stuff we have in our red tape and our growth and our virtual CFO packages. But it's very dry, right? Now here's how I might sell lava cake, right? Do not read the description below if you're of a weak chocolate disposition. Are you ready to sell your soul to the chocolate god? Our famous death by chocolate molten lava cake is less of a cake and more of a three-way chocolate symphony for the taste buds. Your plate arrives with what appears to be a simple, warm, moist chocolate cake sitting on a melting chocolate brick. But as your spoon cuts into the chocolate lava river, a chocolate lava river oozes over your plate, causing dessert envy all around you. Your first mouthful is a point of no return. Hold back your smug smile as the orchestra plays inside your mouth. No one likes a bad winner. This generous overindulgence is often a luxury beyond one person's ability to absorb. That's why we provide 2 spoons. See you in heaven. So this is the difference of, and it's an exaggerated one, of course, but we talk about outputs, usually not inputs. Okay, so we need to demonstrate the value of each of these packages to make them fly, right? We want more people taking the good ones. So some people know the price of everything and the value of nothing. If you think it's expensive to hire a professional, wait until you hire an amateur. So So what we want to do is when we explain each of the packages, we don't want the price looking expensive and the value looking low, right? What we want is the price looking cheap compared to what I'm going to get. Okay, compared to what I'm going to get. So we said at the start, this is for people who want to move into the advisory, because that's where you can add huge amount of value. Compliance, you can add some value, but it's kind of limited. There's only so many tricks you can pull in compliance, but advisory, it's almost unlimited. So it's much easier. Now here's a couple of fun examples. If I had LADA, $200, gets you from A to B, does what the ATO demands, keeps you out of jail, will do your tax returns, your reconciling for bad payments, right? So there's one package. There's the BMW. Now notice it's given the BMW Club, right? So this is a growth product. Okay, so it's $500 a month, high performance income growth package. We'll set targets on a mission control dashboard. We'll identify KPIs. We'll agree the strategies you'll implement. We'll review your numbers every 90 days. You're part of an elite club of high performers and high income earners. And then the Porsche Club, $2,000 a month, right? Get your business ready to sell. So this is for people looking to sell their business. Everything you receive in BMW, plus you get a one-on-one coaching session with me each month. Within 24 months, your business becomes a high-performance, high-value machine. Good luck in retirement. Okay, so we're selling the outcome. Now, I'm being, you wouldn't do it exactly like this, but I'm giving graphic examples to try and illustrate my point. When we sell it, we sell the outcomes of what they're going to get, not the inputs, not the egg, flour stuff. Okay, makes sense, everybody? If you've got a question around pricing and packaging, so just to go back here, we've covered Monkey's Fist, we've covered the 90-day planning sessions, we've covered presenting, one way to present, and those are the 3 strategies, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so if you've got any questions, now's the time to type them in. And Darren, we'll answer some of these questions in a minute, but just to recap, high fee package.
One thing, Richard, I just on those packages, one of the things, and you brought up the McDonald's logo before, one of the things, and I said to someone recently, is you don't go to McDonald's to buy the small children's burger and fries, you buy the Happy Meal.
Yes, you buy the package.
You buy the package. It's people are buying happiness. They're not buying a burger. They're buying peace and quiet or whatever. But it's called the Happy Meal for a reason, and that's what you buy. It's like going to a juice bar. You don't buy the ginger and orange and apple juice. You buy the immune booster. So
correct.
People positioning things in a way that presents an outcome.
Correct. That's exactly right. Because in all the studies on it, they find that if you offer them the individual pieces and they have to pick out all the different pieces, it's confusing and overwhelming, right? But if you say, well, if you're looking for this type of outcome, you want this package A. If you're looking for this type of outcome, you're in this situation, package B. And that's what McDonald's has done. As simple as ordering burgers, they've bundled up stuff into the Happy Meal, and all the companies do it. Because you just go, I'll take the Happy Meal, and it's less thinking. I just have to order one thing, right? And I get to feel happy. And same with cars. I mean, cars are kind of a bundled. Different cars are a bundled collection of different components, aren't they? You don't order a car. I'll have the Pirelli tires. I'll have that would be overwhelming. You just take the Porsche. And it's got all the stuff, it has the ABS built in. If you want something cheaper, I'll take the BMW. If you want something cheaper, take the Skoda or the Lada, right? But it's all bundled in. So we've covered the high value packaging. I have just skimmed over these topics, but hopefully it's enough to open your mind up and think, wow, there is some real stuff I can do, and I've had some takeaways. We've covered the 90-day one way to quadruple referrals, and we've talked about the Facebook advertising. So hopefully, guys, you've got at least one thing from this training. Now, Rakesh talked about, okay, implementation is the key, and if you guys are all right, we'll talk about implementation. But look out, there'll be a copy of that book I mentioned earlier, What to Do If Your Monkey Sucks. That'll be part of the follow-up that we'll send to you. I think because you're here at the end, you will automatically get sent a copy with our compliments. If you've got any questions about any of those things, so about the romance process, remember the first step in the romance process was the monkey's fist, then getting them into a meeting, then packaging and positioning your final offer properly. If you've got any questions around any of that, that's great. Type them in. We'll cover that in about 7 minutes when I've finished this little thing around implementation. So theory is simple, but implementation is king. Okay, now here's a quick question. Did you get at least one powerful idea from today's training that could transform your business? Actually, just type that in. Guys, did you just type in yes if you did? Have you got at least one thing you can walk away with? Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Rochelle. Cool, that's good news. Justin, thanks guys. Thank you. Okay, great. Just imagine you implemented one idea, and imagine you implemented all the ideas over the next 12 months. Imagine that, right? Could you transform your business faster than you're doing it now? Okay, do you want help? So what I'll do, guys, with your permission, I'll give you a quick, probably take about 7 minutes to run through what we do and how we do it. And if it's of interest to you, then I'll get you to book a meeting with us. If you've got everything you wanted from this webinar, then you'll be free to leave. And thanks for joining us. And we will be running more webinars in the future. And wish you all the best. And we'll stay in touch with you. Okay. Here we go. I want to show you a little something. So if you picked up some valuable ideas, great. If that's enough, wish you well. If you want more, stick around for another 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to show you how we're going to put it all together. And a quick story here. This is worth seeing. This is about the 80-20. A quick story about an Italian economist. And this is about the 80-20 principles. His name was Wilfredo Pareto. In 1906, he made a famous observation that 20% of the population owned 80% of the property in Italy. And he thought this was incredibly unfair. So then he studied England, France, Germany, and Spain and found the same distribution of wealth. And he thought, oh, it's all of Europe. It must be a sign of our times. We're living in unfair times. And then he went back 100 years previously and he found the same distribution of wealth, right? The principle of the 80-20, 20% owning 80% of the land was always present. Now that's as far as Pareto left it. Right? And there's a great book called the 80-20 Principle, which you may want to read, but it's a massively, if you want high performance, most of you will probably be familiar with the term, and it's something I really love. And it's about the trivial many. So most of what you do has little impact on your results. A vital few things you do create nearly all of your results. And if you improve the vital few, then you can easily double or triple your results, right? Great results with less effort. Now, what's the 80-20 of marketing? Well, most people think I do all these activities and it generates this result. Well, yes and no, right? So here's all the activities I do and I'm turning over $1 million a year. Yeah, it is, but if we 80-20 it, what we notice that most of what you're doing is producing not many results, and some of what you're doing is producing almost all your results. And when you put on your 80-20 goggles and you start to see what's really happening, what's really turning the wheel, you go, wow, I didn't realize I was wasting so much time, okay? So it's the same with clothes. You might say, well, I wear 20% of my clothes 80% of the time. 20% of the criminals create 80% of the crime. 20% of authors make 80% of the book sales. This 80-20 is everywhere, and we've got to be looking for the 20s, the vital few that make all the difference. Sports people, 20% of sports people earn all the money. Now, with your clients, it can be the same as well, or markets, right? So here's the markets. 20% of the markets that you could be operating in spend 80% of the money. It happens there too. Now, are you in the right markets? Here's a quick example for florists, right? Men under 35 spend on average $30. Men 45 to 60, this is on Valentine's Day, spend on average $100. Okay, now there's one market there that's better than the others. Right? It's 45 to 60. They spend all the money. Everyone else doesn't. So the question to you is, if you picked a market, what would happen if you actually did double your share? And this is what happens if you can, let's say 20% of your client base already is really good, and you add another 20% like them. Look at what happens on the income side. Right? Not all clients are equal, particularly if you're going to do high value packages. right? So it's about identifying who are the clients who can pay me the higher fees. And if we, if that represents 20% of your client base at the moment, and we got you another 20%, look what happens to the income. Why do you rob banks? That's where the money is. So Willie Sutton, he was a practitioner of the 80-20 principle in terms of where the money was, at least. So 80% of your actions will not get you results. A vital few actions will get you exponentially more. So it's about doing the right things, right? If you focus on the vital few things, you can earn more and work less. Now, with marketing, very quickly, this is kind of what we do. I'm always looking. So when I come up with the training and when I work with clients, if we use a quadrant here, we've got results, we've got low results or high results. There's things that we can do which get low results or high results. There's things that have low amount of effort or high effort. So number one is low results, low effort. Okay, yeah, not really much point doing that. Number two, low results, high effort. Now you can probably think of some things there that you might be doing. Low results, high effort. Number three, high results, high effort. Number four, brilliant. Low effort, but high results. That's where we want to be. So that's the type of stuff that Darren and I, having worked with accountants, we kind of know how to avoid doing everything that doesn't work. So there's a whole lot of things you could be doing. And if we were to put them into quadrants, referrals is brilliant. Raising fees is brilliant. Networking is good, can be good, but it's hard work. Sponsorship, it may be different for you. What I'm always looking for is what are the 80-20s, right? What are the things that take little effort but get high results with little effort? Now, some of them, you might say, okay, when you know how to do it, we can move them up here. We can automate certain things, and that's great too. So if you want results faster than a speeding bullet, we need to find your 20%ers, right? Now, generally, referrals, niching, raising your fees by doing good pricing and packaging, and better ways of doing smarter lead generation fit in that top left box. That's what we want to be doing. We don't want to be doing everything. You're busy, and you just need to do the right things. Okay, options from here. You can stay as you are. You can do nothing. Leading a horse to water. You can, drink. No. You can operate on your own, or you can get some help. Okay, so this little piece here, for those who are interested in getting some help, then Darren and I can help you out. There is no harm. I have a property investment coach. Hillary had a coach to help him up Everest. Roger Federer has a coach. Tiger Woods has Butch Harmon, who's a swing coach. That's Sue, my property investment coach. Pay her 10 grand a year to help me with property. Great, brilliant. So we have a bridge. We have some roadmaps that can help you. If you would like to know the shortcuts and if you would like to use the bridges that we have already built. So next step, if you are interested in having a chat to us, we have a thing called a suitability session. And in that suitability session, we'll work out where you are now, we'll work out where you want to be, and we'll work out if we can help you. Right? Now, we're not ideal for everybody, but that's the point of the call. Okay, so if you think getting some help in your black belt development would be useful and you're up for that, there's a link down the bottom. So it's if Darren can put the link into the question window, so that if you guys want to book a session to have a chat with us, there's a link down the bottom. So when you click on that link, you'll be taken to a page that looks a bit like this. And what you'll see is you'll choose a day that suits you. We've got certain days available. It'll probably be with Darren because my times are not great over here in France. You'll choose a day that suits, then you'll be asked to pick a time on that day. So you'll pick a time that suits you. And then you'll enter some details. We'll get some basic details off you so we kind of know who you are before the meeting. And you'll schedule your meeting. What we do, you answer a few questions and you'll click the blue button and that'll be all set up. That's all you have to do. Okay, now it's not a sales meeting, it's just to find out where you are now, where you want to be. Darren will run you through what we do and how we do it. And if it's going to work for you, we can move ahead. And if it's not going to work for you, it's not. So some of the questions we typically get asked is, okay, if we work with you guys, what sort of results can we expect? It really differs. Every single member that comes on board is different. It kind of depends where you are, but here's what we aim for. Okay, in the first 30 days, we want you to deploy your new pricing and packaging. And your referral systems, actually, they'll be deployed too in the first 30 days, because you'll get access to both of those. Within 90 days, you'll have your automated, so that Facebook ads and your Monkey's Fist, that will all be up and running as well. And within 12 months, we want you to have your best year ever. Okay, now, why do we do it in this order? We want you to get a return on investment very fast, ideally within 30 days, right? So there's a couple of different packages you can choose from, but it's structured in a way where we put the fast results stuff first, so that you can, whatever you pay us for coaching and to be on the program, you get back ideally within 30 days, right? There is even a guarantee, not a guarantee that you can take us up on, where you can, if everything is not great for you within 30 days, or it's not what you're expecting, or you weren't getting results as fast as you thought you wanted to, then you can get 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. You don't, for any reason at all, including no reason at all. There's no standard for, you don't have to show you've done anything. You can just say, hey, I want out. Now, we have very few people take that out. I don't even actually think we've had anyone take us up, but you certainly can, right? Darren, you'll know that better than me, right? Is anyone?
No one has. I mean, once they see the value and what they're getting, especially inside that first 30 days, get the results, then, and then once they see that automated system with all the resources and the Monkey's Fists that are done, then, and they start seeing the leads coming in, it's a pretty hard thing to walk away from, really.
Yeah. Well, it is.
And we find most accountants have yet to find one that's not are really pretty ethical people. So once they see they're very, very rarely someone's going to come along and go, yeah, great, thanks for all that free information, see you later.
The only thing would be if your situation changes, or someone's health changes or something like that. That's, that might be a valid reason, but it all works really good, and particularly the stuff we do early works really fast. So people are pretty happy within 30 days. You wouldn't be the first person. I showed you some of these people before. We've got a lot of people who have been through the process and done really well, including Darren. So Darren went through the process. Darren was kind of he wasn't the first client, but he's the first in this sort of iteration of the process. This is proven strategies that work for accountants.
I just want to add that, Richard, too. One thing I do want to say, and I'm really hot on this at the moment, and especially the last couple of months. One of the things that we know, there's lots of different strategies being touted out there, and lots of talk around quick wins and low-hanging fruit, and doing this and doing that, and farming lists and all sorts of things. One of the things that is really important to us with this, when we started doing it and having worked in the accounting industry, is it had to be ethical. So what we're trying to build here, and what we want to help you build, is a long-term ethical marketing system that's sustainable and helps you scale without having to spend 90% of your time working on it. We're not here to do quick sort of gimmicky sort of almost spammy style of marketing. That's just not our style. We want something that's sustainable for the long term. And so we tend to I prefer to call this an ethical sales and marketing approach to growing your practice.
Yep. Darren calls it ethical, and I would call it educational. So both are right. So we use education and giving value away to attract people to you. So rather than telling everybody how great you are as an accountant, we create some small things that demonstrate it in advance. So we're giving value away in advance. It's like good karma. And so there's no selling required. If you can help people get a small, quick result that removes a pebble from their shoe, they like you. You don't have to sell. So it's a pretty ugly slide here, but I just want to talk about the difference between tools and motivation. So a lot of people say, oh, well, it's all about motivation. Well, I'm a sport, I've done a lot of sports psychology, and I take a professional cricket team, for 2 years, and I played international cricket. And So I'm big into sports psychology and I'm big into motivation, but, right, you know, if you've got someone trying to dig a hole and they're highly motivated and they're even the world champion hole digger, if someone else comes along with the right tool, like that digger on the left, that tool is always going to beat the world digging champion, right? So yes, motivation is important, but it's often overplayed. You need the right tools, right? You need the 20% of the tools that are going to get you 80% of the result, right? Motivation won't do it for you alone. So a couple of questions people ask, what's included? We'll go into this in greater detail on the call. Darren will give you sort of in complete detail, but what's included, we've got Albert, Socrates, and Leonardo. So the Albert is the online training. So these are the videos and the templates and the worksheets that you'll go through at your own speed. Okay, so that's, you know, they're all mapped out. Videos kind of like this, but much more not much more step by step, but step by step outlining what to do on the different areas. There's 16 weeks of coaching with Darren and I. We're there twice a week. So there's 2 coaching sessions a week, group coaching sessions. You'll also get one-on-one coaching sessions with us as well, okay, particularly in the first few weeks. And then Leonardo is the bonus. Now the bonus is if you register for a suitability call today, right, we will also set up a complete automated system for you. Okay, so remember in the office, originally in the office, I said you got to give people a reason to move because it's very easy to procrastinate. Well, same for you. If you come back to us tomorrow, we won't build the automated system for you. You can have you can have Albert and Socrates, you can have the coaching. But if you register for a call today, that doesn't commit you to joining the program. But if you do that, we will build you a complete automated system like the one that we showed you with Cameron. The landing pages, the monkey's fist, the automated follow-up emails, the automated booking system, right? You want one of those because that is, you know, that's a way to get appointments with qualified prospects while you're sleeping. Okay, you want all of it. So what do we cover in the training? We cover pricing and packaging because that is the fastest way for us to get you results. We then cover referrals because that is the fastest way to exponentially grow. You'll become a referral business. I'll show you exactly how to do it. I showed you the 90-day planning session. Some of you may go, oh, you know, I don't, that doesn't suit me. That's fine. There's 7 other referral systems you can put in place. And you might only put in place 3, but I want you to have a 100% referral rate. So for every client you take on, I want them to refer at least 1 client to you on average. So that would mean if you were at a silver level referral rate, you would double your business every year, and there's no reason you can't do that, right? But you do have to have the systems in place and the referral tools in place. Cool. And we'll ask you for referrals when you do well in our program as well. Okay, so we want to be at least a gold medal business because it's a good thing to be. Some of the things, these are some of the strategies in the referral training. They won't mean much to you now, but they will once you get into it. There's a whole lot of stuff, and referrals works really well. We find with the guys that go into it, works really well. The other one is the client attraction. You get the training on the client attraction, but just remember, if you register, if you book in a call today, you'll get that client attraction system set up for you. That is a pretty good deal. Now, each training module includes videos, reports, worksheets, examples, and live weekly coaching. Okay, either the group session or you'll have some one-on-ones with me and Darren early on. Okay, so if it makes sense to you and you want to have a chat to us, there's the link down the bottom. There's also the link in that questions window. What else? How many people do you take? Good question. Thank you for asking. 5 per intake. Okay, now there's, let's have a look here. Well, we've got more than that on the call now. We only take on 5. Why do we only take on 5 at a time? Because we work side by side with you. We need to get you results. We do some of the heavy lifting. So because we're setting up systems for you, we can't take, we're not like we're a boutique, I guess we're a boutique marketing training company. We don't take on 50 people at a time and just give you the training videos and say, there you go and do it yourself. We work closely with you because we want you to get results. So we take, we don't grow as fast as we could, but we want to make sure people are getting results, right? So that's why we
systems that we build, the systems myself and my team build, they take time. You're building out content, helping you build Monkey's Fists and setting up your system. It takes 2 or 3 weeks to do that. So, at the end of the day, we figured 5's a good number, and it's comfortable for us, and it doesn't put us under pressure, and it means that we're still available to help our current members and answer questions, and it's a good model.
Yeah, and we want to work with people like one-on-one and individually, because otherwise with training programs often people get lost, right? So we don't want anyone lost. Do I have to write a lot of content? Well, if you can you cut and paste? Because if you book that session today, you can have the design files we have for reports and documents. You add your logo and use as your Monkey's Fist. So we do have a lot of stuff there already. That if you book that session today, you get access to all the stuff that we've already got. Okay, and I'm talking Monkey's Fist, and they're basically for different trades. So what are the Monkey's Fists for the different sort of industries we have, Darren?
We've got one for trade, a really good one for hospitality. I've done one for ATO, if you're chasing customers that might be in arrears with the ATO, which is actually a relatively new one, and that got one of our members in Melbourne, got them a new client within 24 hours. So we've got that, tradies, hospitality, importers and exporters, medical practitioners, and dentists, and then we've got some specific ones around tax and starting a business. That's just I can think off the top of my head.
Don't get me wrong. You'll still have to do some work, right? But a lot of the heavy lifting of putting the system together will be done for you, and we even have some, the emails. We have emails all ready to go. We have Monkey's Fists. If there's a good match, you can use that. You can save a lot of work. You can save a lot of work, and it'll happen because it'll all be set up within 30 days. So don't get me wrong though. You still will have to do work. I would say you need to set aside 4 hours a week. That's what for the first 8 weeks. That would be fair. It wouldn't be less than that, and it could be more if you wanted to put more in. But you would need to do 4 hours. It doesn't have to be during work hours. It could be after. You can do it after work or in the weekends or something like that. So will be some. What if I want to go slower or faster? You go at your own pace. Okay, so you have lifetime access to the materials, 12-month access to the coaches. Is that right? Well, one of the packages, 12-month access to the coaches. Okay, so you can go at your own pace because the training will always be there. Who's not suitable? Small. Well, if you're only small and you've got a small client base, and this is more for medium. Well, anyone who's growth focused, you can be small as long as you're ambitious and you're prepared to do something about it. Okay. If you're expecting to drink champagne while money falls from the ceiling, you're probably not suitable, right? If you're a procrastinator, it doesn't matter what the course is, it's going to be harder for you. So you're an action taker. It has to take a bit of work, even though we're doing a lot of the work for you. Ideally, you already got momentum and you're up and running. If you're just a complete startup and you don't have any resources, not so ideal. If you're already up and rolling and you've got an existing business that's trucking along well, but you want it to do better, that's perfect. Who is suited?
To qualify that too, Richard, what we're meaning by small businesses is that small business mentality. If you're wanting to make an extra $20,000 or $30,000, then this is really not the program for you. What we're expecting from people is to say, I want to be making at least another 100, another 200, another 300 over the next year or 2 years. That's the people we want to work with. People who actually have aspirational goals and want to achieve them. If you want to make an extra 10 or 20K, go and do a LinkedIn strategy. There's heaps of them around there at the moment. It's not long-term or sustainable, but that's not really our style. We want people who have the same sort of growth strategies or growth aspirations as we do.
Yeah, that's well put. So it's Yeah, well put. You said it better than I did. You're ready to transition to advisory. Selling advice lends itself to high value fees. Compliance is a bit harder. You're a now person, not a later person. So if you're kind of an action taker ready to get going, you'd be ideal. Do you hold me accountable? Yep, you'll be reporting your results. I want to see your numbers at 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And if I see, if I see numbers are not quite where they want to be, I'll say, hey, boom, what's happening here? And you go, oh, I haven't done anything. And you go, right, here's my boot, and there's turn around, and I'll give you a boot up the backside, and let's get some stuff done. We need it implemented. You haven't joined this program just to listen to my voice. What happens? Week 1, very big on 80/20. We'll give you the 12 magic arrows. So these are the 20% of the 20% activities. These are 12 things you can do really quick, usually within 5 to 10 minutes, that get super fast results. And those are the things we want you to do first, right? Just put those quick 12 magic arrows in place. Weeks 2, you'll get into the high value packages. We're looking to create packages that allow you to raise your fees, right? And you'll go through that. Boom, really, these are some of the strategies: steel ball strategy, referral pricing, the FAB formula, the cross-sell, bundling strategies, 6 secrets to creating irresistible packages, and the marketing vault. You'll get examples of what other people have done. We have a vault that you basically go into the vault, and you'll understand how pricing and packaging work, because you'll see what other people have done. Yep. And it's a super fast way, like changing your packaging is a super fast way to raise your fees, right? We had massive results. This is Gavin. Gavin made $302,000 of extra income, including GST, by using the steel ball strategy, right? Once again, had an existing business. He wasn't from scratch, but he had an existing business and was able to incorporate these strategies into his thing and did very well. I won't go into that. His grant picked up very quickly a $25,000 client a year using the pricing and packaging on a package he was never offering before, right? They took the big one. Peter gets results. Weeks 3 and 4, we'll go into the referrals. We want you to get referrals and set up the systems very quickly. This is still while you've got the 30-day guarantee. Right? So even if you were to walk away on day 29, you're going to implement a lot. The referral systems are brilliant. They're massively underdone. Marketers don't talk about referral strategies nearly enough. Referrals is the easiest, fastest way to grow your practice, right? But you've got to have the tools. These are some of the strategies you'll learn: referral identity, referral rewards, the referral monster. Remarkable client experience is a really fun one. The dirty 30, you'll hit yourself on the head and go, I should have thought of that myself, but you never will have. The dream team strategy and the 90-day planning workshops, you've seen a quick overview on that today.
Just to jump in there too, I can tell you that one of the guys that worked for me at Rightway, he came in on scratch, and within 2.5 years, 3 years, he was already at around about 38,000, I could be wrong, 38,000 recurring revenue monthly. And he did it purely through his referrals system.
Yeah, that's right.
He was one of the best I've ever seen use it, to use that strategy, and he just did it so well. Yeah.
So sorry.
No, it's fine. We've got some good questions. Rochelle's asked me a question for the hyperlink. I have put it in the questions panel and the chat panel there, Rochelle. Thanks for those that have booked a time, Tim, Rakesh, Rachel, and Maureen. Thank you. Yeah, if you're having trouble, let me know. I mean, just mention it in the questions panel. On my phone. I'll email you, Rochelle. How's that? And I'll email the link to you.
Or just give it, if you've got a number there, type your phone number, Rochelle, and Darren will give you a call back afterwards.
I'll do that. I'll give you a call later on. What I'll actually do is, actually for anyone that's in Melbourne, I generally will actually come and meet you personally, because that's where I live. So it's always nice to meet people. We've got a lot of members all around Australia and New Zealand, and some of them I've never met before, and not face to face anyway. So it's people in Melbourne, I always like to come and chat and meet face to face and have a coffee.
We also have, and I haven't mentioned it here, but we meet at least once a year in a live workshop. So we get together and we work on this stuff as well. Chance to get to know everybody, but also to see each other face to face and have one day out where we just go through the stuff again. What else have we got here? Yeah, it's all, a lot of it's done for you. There's letters, particularly with the referrals. There's pre-written letters. There's the 90-day overview. There's an overview for the 90-day workshop that I talked about. There's workshops for the 90-day workshop. There's spreadsheets that you have access to and that you can just download and use, right? So all this type of stuff. How will I measure success? You will track your measurement on lead summary. So everything you do, you'll put down in a spreadsheet, and we'll measure the number of leads you get, the cost per lead, the number of meetings, the number of sales, the average sale, and the return on investment. There's a little spreadsheet that kind of works all that out for you. You have to fill in the white squares and the yellow squares. Or you know, I don't need to teach you guys how spreadsheets work, but very few, not just accounting, but any practice or any professional service firm is able to track their leads, because they just do activities and they really don't know where their leads and phone calls come from. But you will be able to track it because they're coming through the monkey's fist or they're booking a meeting. You'll know exactly what of the activities you have done has generated that. And so we'll be able to say, okay, action 1 and 2 and 3 are generating virtually 80% of our results. We'll do more of that, and we'll do less of the other. We need to know exactly what's delivering results of your activities and what is not. So what happens in the suitability session? If you book one, sounds like most of you already done it. What's going to happen is we'll find out where you are now. We'll do a little diagnosis. We'll find out where you want to be. We'll find out what's stopping you. We'll identify what motivates you, what your driver is, and we'll outline your best options. That's basically it. So if you'd like some help, you can leverage other people, i.e. us. You could leverage the shortcuts we've got. There's a whole support structure around you. If you come into the 80/20 Academy, you can leverage that. Do we accept anyone who applies? No. You know, we have certain criteria that we have in place, but if you book a meeting, we'll find out if we're a fit. Don't fear failure. Fear being in the same place next year as you are this year. Okay, so if you want growth, this is a good opportunity for you. We're pretty good at it. We work closely with you. We're more of a hands-on type operation than just here's your training, see you later. All the best, you're on your own. We work with you over a sustained period of time. But Darren will give you the details on that when you book that session. So that's it, guys. 3 proven marketing strategies to attract high-value accounting and advisory clients every month. If we've got any of these, and just a reminder, so when I said we'd set this up for you, the automated system, remember Cameron's system, there's the ad, there's the landing page, there's the book a meeting, kind of like you're booking a meeting with us, that gets set up for you, and all that type of stuff is in place. So happy to cover any questions, whether any of the content that we covered today. We'll wrap it up in about 10 minutes, but there's still a lot of people still here. So Darren, if you want to cover any questions that people have brought up, even if you've already answered them, they might be handy for other people. So either questions about what I've covered or questions about the membership and the program that we run.
Is that correct? Yeah, so there's been some great questions, and to be honest, we've been doing this for 3 years. I've never seen so many questions come through. So obviously this new presentation that Richard's put together while he's traveling has obviously resonated. So I don't even know where to begin. We had Rakesh asked a great question. Could this be used for our clients as well? That's actually a really good question, and it's something we'd probably cover off. We are looking to white label the program, the Academy, and that'll enable our members to actually on-sell the coaching and the marketing system to their own clients and provide it as another tool that you can add into your packages. So talk more about that another time. So yes, it will be used for clients. Generally, the feedback we get from our members is, you know, I've had my best year yet. I'm also more adept at marketing. I have better conversations with them. I have better engagement with them, and I'm providing better help. And I'm now able to charge more because of that. So, yes, and as an answer there. Question on prices come up a lot, and we'll talk about that in the meetings if you book a time with us. But it is under $10,000, depending on the package. We've got a range of packages, obviously, as we would, because we talk about it. So that's what where we're playing at there. I've been told my business name sucks. We'll help you with that later. It's fine. Another question here. Just trying to look at some more here. Thanks. Question: how does your program differ from like Practice Paradox? I think Richard's covered it off really well. The feedback, and we've obviously spoken to a lot of our members, what they feel they get from us. It's probably a little bit different to a lot of programs. It is that personal attention, that one-on-one. We do stick with you for 12 months. You know, we will kick you up the bum. As I said to Paul, one of our more recent members in Melbourne, I said, look, you know, it's not a product that you are going to be allowed to sit on the shelf and gather dust. This is something we're going to kick your butt. I will ring you, I will book times with you, and I will chase you up. And that's what we're about. It's more about that personal touch. This is not about selling a program saying, good luck, see you later. If you don't use it, tough luck. We need your testimonials. We need your feedback. And I actually quite like the feedback. It's the main reason I do it. You know, the other week, seeing, I think it was an hour before the end of the last day of the financial year, seeing Grant and Carmel from Brisbane saying they just had their best years ever. That's awesome. So I guess that's probably the difference between us and other providers. But I guess you'd have to go and speak to them and get the feeling from them. If you feel that they're a better fit for you, then go for it. I mean, there's a lot of really good people out there, and there's a lot of good consultants. I guess I'd like to say that our one is you know, we specialise in accountants. It's tailored for you, and we hold your hand and we do most of the heavy lifting. That's probably the best way I can sum it up. But you've got to like us. If you don't like us, you don't want to deal with us, because we do have a bit of a sense of humour sometimes, don't we, Rich?
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right.
It's not all.
Rakesh says, sorry.
It's not all work. We've got to have a bit of fun.
That's right. That's right. Rakesh has, how long is access to the materials valid for? Forever, Rakesh. We've got stuff up there. We're constantly adding stuff to it, so you get lifetime access and lifetime upgrades to. I'm constantly refining. So the pricing and packaging recently, I had sort of, you know, I'm turned into a 6-step system for creating packages. Everybody could see it, and everyone understood the value of it, and everyone was kind of not quite getting it. So I created 6 steps that you go through, from naming it to talking about the outputs and what you have to have in there. It's good. There was lots from Rochelle here, and even though you may have already answered them, Darren.
Sorry.
Even though you may have already answered them, other people might find the questions and answers useful. So, thoughts on converting current clients onto a package? That's great. Yeah, that's the first place you should start, is upgrading your existing clients into packages, right? That's the first place you should start. They should be the easiest ones to upgrade. And really, it's just a case of coming up with higher value packages and giving them the option. Like, you don't have to say, hey, price is going up 50%. You can say you can have the existing one you're on, or we've come up with these new packages which are, we're finding everyone's going for, because they're even better value. You pay more, but you get a lot more, right? And if you come on the program, we'll help you put those packages. I'll help you put those packages together, so that you've got some really good high value packages that people can go through. Pricing. Oh, everyone's asking about pricing. Yeah, it ranges depending on which kind of package you go from. But Rochelle, happy to book a suitability session. Okay, that sounds like you're sorting
it out with Rochelle. I've just texted her and we're just sorting it out. Perfect.
Here we go. So I'm small, but really want to get this baby churning out the cash. Good. Well, I mean, that's what we're in business for, isn't it? I mean, we want to make money. Yes. We want to do it in an ethical way. We want to do it by helping other people, basically. So the approach with this, my approach to high value packages is not just charging people more, but it's working out ways to give them a lot more where you charge them a bit more. You know, you might charge them 100 or 200 or 300% more, but they usually win on the deal because you're providing services which will give them 10 times return on investment. Ideally, that's what you should be aiming for. So if you want to charge someone a $10,000 package per year, then we need you to find ways to deliver $100,000 worth of value. Okay, and I'll help you with that and take you through that. Some of you are already doing it. Some of you are already giving away. Some of you, when you meet your clients, you're giving them huge value and you're just charging them for the compliance, right? And you're going above and beyond, and but that's on one hand. On one hand, you're giving it away for nothing because you don't know how to package it up. On the other hand, you're not giving it away because they've only paid for compliance and you don't have time to go and do that extra stuff that helps them get big value. And that's a shame as well, because you can do that for them, right? So by having higher value packages that the ones who are keen can pay for, then it gives you the time to go and help them, right? Go and help them earn an extra 100,000, or go and help them get their business ready for sale, or go and help them clean up their cash flow, or go and help them get their debt coming in. Whatever it is that you're good at doing, go and do. That's worth tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands to some companies. And you need that bigger value package so that they can say, I want that help, and you've got time to go and do it. So a startup is not ideal. No, it's not ideal because there's often a lot of things you need to have in place. We prefer people. We've had startup companies in our program, but we prefer people who are already rolling, because it's easier to take a car that's going at 50 kilometers an hour and get it up to 70 than it is to take a car from 0 and get it up to 40, right? But it just depends. If you're a real go-getter and it's not your first business, or you really know what you're going to do and you already know that you can ramp things up quickly, then that's fine. But if you're kind of a startup hoping that we can make you go faster, but you need to get that initial momentum usually.
Okay, I've just had a message from Rochelle. Turns out Rochelle is roughly 15 minutes down the road from me. So we might down here.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Rochelle.
I'm looking at Active Campaign. Do you reckon I should hold off on signing up until we chat? Yeah, I do reckon you should hold off signing up for Active Campaign until we chat, definitely.
Just to give you a bit of an overview of that, if you do know a little bit about it, and I know a lot of you are, I've actually pre-built, which is basically our base format, a full email marketing CRM system that helps people implement upselling to their existing clients, nurturing their existing clients, staying engaged with existing clients, looking for opportunities to upsell, as well as a full lead nurturing, lead generation, forms, and also BAS notifications if you want it. So that's pretty much my background and what I do. We've also got a team of specialists who work with some of the biggest players in the market. So we've actually got a system there that's what we set up for you. All right. That's for those who book on the call now. So which we've got. So we've already got quite a few. So Richard, are we almost close to wrapping this up? Because I need to get to footy training.
Will you go? I'll just finish off these last couple of questions if you need to go. I'm good, because we have gone for a while, but there's been so many questions. Brett just says, I'm actually a finance broker. It's his confession. I signed up for the webinar as you can learn a lot from similar industries. I have the same issues as accountants. That's fine. So, I mean, this applies to you. I mean, what we're talking about here can easily be adapted. I mean, I have a system for architects, and it's a bit different, but a lot of the principles can be overlapped. So you want to have a chat, Brett, happy to chat with you. Also, as a finance broker, actually connecting with accountants, as you're probably well aware, is a good idea. This could be a happy hunting ground for you. Could this be used for our clients? Absolutely. We're going to be creating a white label version of this later in the year. Richard should travel more. Yes, I know. I'm here for 3 months actually. Some great takeaways for me. FHG, got a dash, speak soon. Thanks, Lee. Great. Thanks, gents. I have to go. Thanks, Justin. Look forward to meeting you in Canberra on the 31st of July. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. If you're in Canberra, I'm speaking at a lunch and learn with FHG Group. So if you're in Canberra and want to come along I'm only going to talk for about 20 minutes. Just cool. Not an easy thing to do, apparently.
Okay, there you go. All right, Rochelle says, got to go. We'll be in touch. Enjoy France. Thank you very much, Rochelle. Certainly am enjoying France. Been here for about 10 days. It's great. The internet was terrible. But I'm over at the neighbour's house at the moment. He had much better Wi-Fi, so I'm getting new internet connection, and I've now found a neighbour who will let me. He's out on a bike ride. So we're just in a village called Solange, and it's about 25 minutes from Chamonix, which is in the French Alps. So really lucky to be here, enjoying it, and having a great time. So thanks, guys. Thanks, Rakesh. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be fine. Nice place indeed. Yeah. Thanks, guys. For those who booked a meeting, we'll catch up with you soon, and for everybody else, hopefully we'll stay in touch and we'll continue to nurture you, and maybe later on is a better time for you to connect with us. I'm sure we'll cross paths at some stage very soon. Thanks, Darren.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Appreciate your time. I'm sure you can go back to bed now.
Yeah, I might actually. I was up early. I was stressing about all the bits and pieces and the slides, but I think we got there in the end.
Oh, we got there in the end. It's always tough with the new slides and new content and getting the routine right. But I think you've done a fantastic job, and it's been great engagement. And thanks to those that are still here now with Don Farndon. Hello, Don Farndon from Adelaide, and Justin, Rochelle, Tim, Peter, Sarah, Rachel. Thanks very much, guys. Everyone should be leaving now. We're going to leave. Enjoy the rest of your trip, Rich.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Yeah.